Okay. Well, good afternoon, Libraryland. This is Jerry Davis here, your sales consultant, along with Liz Greiner, my marketing specialist, who also happens to be a public library director, or was a public library director. We are going to be doing a bite-sized demo for managing your library today. It'll be a brief overview of Library.Solution. We're going to try and cover as much as we can in 20 minutes without losing you along the way. With that, we want to highlight a couple of key things about Library.Solution. We want to show you just how intuitive the system is, especially in places like circulation for staff, and also in the library catalog for your patrons who might be coming up to it for the first time. We want to let you know how flexible the system is. That's important because you all have different workflows. And so we want to be able to offer you different types of workflows and different approaches to the issues you face. We've been very intentional about all of this. We have taken feedback from our customers over the years, and we have incorporated that feedback back into our system to make it more intuitive and more flexible. So with that, Liz, do you have anything else to add at this point, or should we dive into the demo?
Nope, I think we're ready.
Okay, all right. Then let's start with the catalog. And I want to show you some of the things that we have available here. Essentially, you have a library page like this. This is completely configurable by you, and we will be adding more configurations very shortly in our upcoming 5.8 release. You'll have the ability to change all these colors, all the wording here, the graphics and such like. We're working towards WCAG compliance on this, and we've improved that enormously. We have also improved the responsive design elements of this now, so that all of the functionality that you see here is available on your mobile devices without having to resort to an app. We do have an app as well, however. Okay, with that in mind, let's go ahead and explain what you're seeing here. We have carousels on the screen here. You can have up to 5 carousels. These carousels can be informed either by saved searches that staff make or by lists that are created. And these carousels can be easily changed around on a daily basis if necessary. And again, each library location can have its own configuration, or indeed each location can actually have multiple configurations of this page. So let's dive in and have a look at what we're doing here. Again, the carousel at the bottom, I could click on any of these titles here and go straight into the catalog. But instead, I'm going to do a search. And quite typically, I can't remember how to spell somebody's name at times. And I'm thinking, what do I want here? Rick Riordan is what I'm looking for. So what I have here is a relevancy ranked result set. Those are other indexes available. I have 37 hits in the catalog, and you'll see I'm getting hits from my e-resources as well. Okay. At this point, you can see straight away that my materials, it's showing me the availability of them, what locations they're in. At this point, I can also place a hold on something, or I can add it to a list. I've got the basic information I need right here. If I want to go further, however, I can do that. I can go into a completely customizable display here of your information. From here, if I wish, I could actually browse the virtual shelf and see what else is on the shelf next to this book when I go to the shelf and have a look. Apart from that, I can also scroll through my results without having to go back to the result set. While I'm here, again, I can also go off. We offer full Syndetics Unbound content with the system. So you can see if this is a series, where you are in the series here. You can see similar titles, similar authors, similar series, similar books. You can also go in and look at further information about this particular title and about the author as well, and other books by Rick Riordan. So again, full Syndetics content is included in the system here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the results, and I am going to refine this by selecting e-resources. I can see there that there were 8 of them. And from here, I can now look and I can see my e-resources. One of the options you have within our system is to go out and download a title from, say, Overdrive, without having to force your patrons out of the catalog. So I'm going to hit download here. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to ask me for my library card and PIN. This is often a hurdle for your patrons. So we have created what we call an easy username, an easy password. Once your patrons have logged in once using the library assigned PIN and 14-digit barcode or whatever you have, they can then go in and create their own easy username and password. So Nick has his name and his nickname there, and he can log into the system. Makes things much more accessible for your patrons. And at this point, the system is asking, hey, do you want to download this Overdrive book? And I could say yes to that. Since I'm here and I've logged into Nick's account, we can go and have a brief look at that. And from here, I can see his basic information, what loans he has, what fines he has, what holds he has. I can click on his fines, and optionally, you have the ability to pay fines online using our authorized debt service. He can also go in and look at his loan history if you've decided to turn that on, and you can turn that on for individual patrons. I can also go back to his account summary. I can see any linked accounts he has. So if he's responsible for a family. And the last thing I can do there is looking at his contact information. You may decide you want to allow Nick to decide which messages he gets by text and by paper and by email and maybe by phone as well. So you can set those up and allow your patrons to make those changes if you wish. Okay, with that, let's move ahead and look at a few other things in the system. I'm going to go across now to Kids Catalog, LS2 Kids, and this is for emerging readers. So I'm going to dive into that. So here we have a very graphical interface. TLC has been developing this and refining this for over 20 years. It's used by a large number of libraries. And in this, I'm looking actually at series and chapter books, and these are ones that we have curated for you. We've curated all of these for you. I'm looking for a particular one here. My grandson is a big fan of Pete the Cat. There he is. I keep singing his song and walking along. And so here we have Pete the Cat titles, and they are displayed in series order. We curate that for you. You can see which books are easily in and out, and if it's a e-resource, how you get it. And I can click on an individual title, find out everything about that, and you see very simple commands for emerging readers. Hey, I want this book. And so do you want to check this in when it's available? Yes. And so, sorry, Nick, you've already got this on hold. So Scout the dog talks. So we also have categories as well. And again, these are subject categories. We've kept this very flat. And so here we've got a large number, but again, it's only going to display categories of titles that you actually own. So I'm trying to get my grandson into sailing at the moment. So he's getting interested in pirates, of course. So again, I can go off and I can look at results, say, for pirates. I can also do searches. And if I'm not sure how to spell things, it doesn't matter. I can type in dinosaur, and just like in the adult pack, the system will say, couldn't find dinosaur, but I did find dinosaur. And so we can find those there. So again, this is for emerging readers and works very nicely on a tablet. So sitting down with an emerging reader and a tablet and going through and finding a book to read is a wonderful thing. Okay, with that, let's move ahead and let's take a look at our staff module. And I'm going to go back to borrow services. What I want to get across to you here is just how flexible this system is, but also how intuitive it is. I'm going to show you just how quickly a staff member can check out books and check books in. Intuitiveness is not just ease of use, it is also speed. We've been very intentional in terms of the workflow here to minimize that annoying use of the mouse and having to click on things and use the keyboard when you're trying to check out a bunch of materials to a whole line of people at the circulation desk. So I want to show you, I'm going to tell you when I'm using the mouse or the keyboard. Otherwise, I'm just going to be using my barcode reader. So I want in a patron. There's Sophie Davies. I'm sorry if that's a little bit loud. And at this point, I can start checking out books to her. Oh, it's checked out to another borrower. Okay. Sorry about that. Pardon me. I'm sorry. I have I have made an error here. Let me just go back in here quickly and we will just cancel that. And my apologies there. I'm just checking books in right now. I'm at check-in right now, and it's showing me my item IDs and my borrowers, and I can click on these and go straight to the borrower of these item, or I can look at the item. But without touching the mouse or the keyboard, I can wander in a patron now, even though I'm at check-in, and it pulls me up my patron record. And at this point, I can check out those books to Sophie. Okay. We've set this up for Sophie, so she gets an email when with all her checked out books. Now, at this point, the system is waiting for me to check out another book. I don't need to touch any buttons. I don't need to touch the mouse. All I have to do is wander to a different patron, and another patron comes up, and I can start checking out those books to Jerry. Okay, so my apologies for that brief hiccup there. All I have to do now to go to check-in is either hit the function F3 key or click the check-in. And at this point, I can check all those books back in again. And as I said earlier, at this point, the system is waiting for me to check out another book or check in another book. Instead, I'm going to wander in a patron, and it goes straight to that screen. So I don't even need to toggle between check in and check out. I just put in a patron barcode instead, and it pulls it up. So again, going back to the intuitiveness of the system, I want to point out to you a couple of things. The first thing here is this item is checked out. It's overdue. How do I know that? It's in red. Very simple. I've got all the information I need there. If there's other information I want, or I want to change where I put things, I can drag and drop those columns. I can also go in and edit which columns display. So you have flexibility here to decide what you want to show at the checkout screen, what's important to you. The other thing is, if I look here, I can see that there's a balance of $372 for Dina, and there's also an arrived hold of 1. You may not notice that if you're engaging with the person in front of you, but you can't miss that there is these two bold graphics here. So I've got an account balance and arrived hold. I can navigate to that in multiple ways. With the account balance, I could click on account balance. I could click here on balance. I could go to charges. Any one of those will take me to the account balance for Dina, and I can go in and pay things. Similarly, I can do the same with arrived holds. I can click on arrived hold here. I could look at her arrived hold here. I could click on and see her pending holds, or I could go to the holds button, which is F6. So I can just click arrived hold, and now I'm seeing Dina's current holds, and I could move items up and down the holds queue on these individual titles. Okay, so there's some of the basic things that we can do there. The other thing I want to show you here is the borrower information screen. And here I've got my basic information for Dina. I can have up to 3 email addresses. This might be useful for children if you want to put your own email address there along with the child's. You can have 2 addresses in the system. Notice we can also have a telephone number at the bottom for text messages. You can have up to 99 fields of custom borrower information, and those can be loaded in there. And that will work nicely with all sorts of demographics that you might want. I mentioned earlier for Nick that Nick can decide how he wanted to set his notifications, but you can also set that here. Of course, you can have defaults for these things. The last thing here is I can also show loan history. This can be turned on and off for individual patrons. You might want it off by default, but you could turn this on for individual patrons. And if you wanted to, by turning this off for this patron, within 15 minutes, all of their history has gone and cannot be reclaimed again afterwards. Okay, So there's some of the basic things in check-in, check-out, and borrow information. What I want to do now is go across the staff services and tell you about hold shelf. This is electronic hold shelf. It'll show me how many items have been on the shelf, how many days they've been shelved, whether there are pending holds behind this one. And I can go in and manage my hold shelf here and reorder things. I can also send out new notifications to a patron before I cancel a hold. We can transfer items between between owning collections and circulating collections. And another thing I want to show you is lists and actions. So I'm going to click across to lists and actions. We have very powerful reporting within the Library.Solutions system. But what we can do here is we can also show you the lists and actions, which is an ad hoc reporting tool that you have available for your staff. So with that, you'll see here that I've done a very simple thing. I've said an author of Picot, a format of audiobook, and I want at least 5 checkouts. And now I've got my results set here for Jodi Picoult audiobooks that have been checked out more than 5 times. And from here, I can go off and look at this, click on an individual title. I could also have taken that list and saved it to a spreadsheet or to another list. Okay, from here, I can see everything about this title and the copies, and I can edit that, edit the copy information. I can also go over and perhaps pull that off in cataloging. So I want to view this title in cataloging. And I can do that in cataloging. And you'll see a form-based display here, very accessible. We've got new features coming shortly that will give you a content, an index on the left-hand side, so you can immediately jump to a particular field. The thing I want to tell you here is the real-time authority control that's in the system. You have access to browsing glossaries of all authority control tags within this cataloging module. So there I've got Jodi Picoult, and if I just bounce back out of that, you can see at this point, I am browsing the LC authority file for names, and I can select the one I want and add it there. I can also go in and use local authorities if I prefer to do that. That, of course, extends, of course, to subjects as well. We have genres that you can add, and we've got glossaries for those. We also have glossaries for awards as well. So again, it makes it very easy for you to navigate around the system. Okay. So with that, I'm going to go across to physical items. It's just warning me I made a change. I'm going to discard those changes. And now I can go in and I can edit the individual copies. Going back to that, I can also look at enhanced content. So within the cataloging module, I can actually see what Syndetics content is going to be displayed to the patron. This might help inform me as to any other changes I want to make to that record. Other things I want to show very briefly, a fast add for ILL. Or just a fast add. This might be the one area that you allow circulation staff to access in cataloging for adding items. And then the other thing I want to mention is inventory. We have a live inventory module. That means you can take a mobile device or a laptop to the shelves, and in real time, you can start scanning items. And I'll do that quickly now. Okay, incorrect location, collection for that. So it can go through and in real time, it can tell you if you have misshelved books, if you've just found a lost book, or if you found an item that should be in transit. So again, inventory is live in the system and your staff can start an inventory, pause it and come back next week and carry on. Okay, with that, I'm going to move ahead and we will finish off by looking at the give me a second. The reports module. Looks like it logged me out. So the reports module is featuring Cognos by IBM. This is a full Fortune 500 business intelligence suite. We believe this is the most powerful reporting module in the industry. Now, there are over 300 standard reports in the system. You may find it hard to find some of those. So not only can you navigate menus for all of those items, but you also can create your own folders for your own reports. And you can put those in there and make those available when you need them. Now, with that, what I want to do there is let's just go in and show you how easy it is to run one of these standardized reports. So I'm going to select a location. This is all parameter driven. Select items to display. I'm going to show all items out. Do I want to show the replacement cost? Yes. Do I want to display the book jacket? Yes. Do I want to select a particular borrower type? No, I'm going to say select all. Do I want to display the borrower ID? Yes, I do. And from that, I can hit finish and I can run this report. Unlike some of the systems that you might find out there, with the power of the Oracle database in the Oracle Cloud, which is what TLC uses, you can run really extensive reports in reporting without having to worry about the effect it might have on the response times in your circulation system. So again, there's a report. You can have this in a PDF format. You can have it in Excel, CSV, or even publish it XML to a website. Let's go back and look at something else that we can do here. One of the important things you want with reports is to be able to run those on a regular basis. So I'm going to go to my schedules, and here I'm going to look at my schedules, and I'm finishing off any second now. And these are all the reports that I've got scheduled in the system. The idea here is that you can set a report on a schedule. I'm going to edit one here. And this particular one, I've said, okay, I want it to run monthly. I want it to repeat every month. I want it to run on the second Wednesday of every month. I want it to run until I say stop. In other words, there is no end date on that. On top of that, I want it to display in a PDF and Excel data format. I want it delivered as a report, and I want to send that report by email. And I want to send it to the following people. All my circulation administrators. And at that, I can save it and run. What I've done there is I've set a report up, I've set it up, and I can forget about it. It'll run automatically. It will deliver on the day I've set to the people I've asked and the content that, in the format that they want. So all of that is available there within Cognos. The other thing we can do, just to finish off, is I mentioned if you're looking for a particular report and I want to do something like inventory, I can do that. And you'll see that using relevancy ranked and AI powered report searching, I can find the materials that I want in the system, which feature inventory. Okay, so that's the basics of the TLC system. We also offer authoring versions of this as well. So if you're adept at dragging and dropping from data fields in a data dictionary, or you like to dabble in SQL, you can do that as well. So with that, I will finish and we'll pass over to Lise and talk about a few other things. One thing I ought to mention is that we do have, as I said, a mobile app called TLC Go, which also features event management as well. Okay, Lise, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. That was a lot of great information. I'm going to open it up for questions in just a moment. If you have a question for Jerry, please add it to the question and answer widget below, and I'll read those out in just a moment. I also have a poll that I am putting up here as well. Let's see, we do have a couple questions already coming in, and our first one is, are you using AI in your reports?
We're not using AI in the reports yet. IBM, you might remember, has something called IBM Watson, which was one of the first AI tools out there. They have AI implemented with Cognos. We have not integrated that into our own reporting yet, but we are looking into it.
Great, thank you so much, Jerry. And also, how long does it take to migrate to TLC?
Typically, a typical implementation is about 12 weeks, and we spend an awful lot of time with you consulting with you about your data. A migration is a terrible thing to waste, as I like to say. And so this is an opportunity for you to really do a deep dive in your data, the structure of it, the integrity of it, the consistency of it, and we can work with you to really clean up your data as well as update all your authority controlled tags and to enhance all your data with RDA data as well. So we spend a lot of time cleaning up your data, but we do that by spending a lot of time talking to you about what you want your data to do, how you want to do your migration, setting up the parameters you want in the system. Again, we don't just throw a system at you. It's a full consultative process, and you end up with a very powerful implementation. And by spending that time on the preparation, typically you would go live over a weekend. Some libraries even go live in less than 24 hours, the cutover period. But certainly over a weekend or 2 days is usually the maximum that we spend in the cutover from your current system live to circulating on TLC. Elise, anything else?
Yes, we actually have quite a few questions coming in.
Okay.
The next one is, are all the features demoed currently being used in production by libraries?
Yes. They are, all of them. In fact, the features that I've shown you today are being superseded almost as we speak by 5.8. But I am demonstrating the current release that's been out there for about 6 months or so. And 5.8 is literally a few days away. But I have held off from showing you those features. I wanted to show you exactly what we have right now, what our current libraries have.
All right. What is the background database for your ILS and would a DBA have access to it?
We use the Oracle, an enterprise version of the Oracle database for our main system, and that resides within the Oracle Cloud. So you've got a wonderful synergy, if I can use that 90s word, between the Oracle environment that we run in and the Oracle database. But again, we have an enterprise version of the Oracle database when you are in the Oracle Cloud. And if you tie that Oracle Enterprise version with IBM Cognos, you've got a very powerful access to this data. You have access to your data. You own all of your data. We don't monetize it. We don't hide it from you. And with the authoring software, we give you a very complete data dictionary so you can navigate around and find the data that you want to access to. Sorry, that was a long answer.
Our next question is, can you show me how on the adult side that a word can be misspelled but still shows up? I have not experienced that. For example, if I type in Dutch hose instead of Dutch house, it does not come up.
Gotcha. Uh, I do. I that depends partly on the searches that you've done in the past, and it indexes that. So I'm really not sure if I think you said Dutch hose. I'm not sure that that's necessarily going to work. In this case, no. Yes, it does. Try the following suggestions. Okay. There you go. You never want to push a button during a demo when you don't know what's going to happen next. But in this case, yes, I have Dutch house when I put in Dutch hose. Okay,
Great.
hope that
Here's
helps.
here's a great one. Do you also have an inventory wand?
Yes, we do. Now I happen to use, we happen to sell these wonderful little things. These are socket CHSs. It's a Bluetooth scanner. It has a, or it can come with a very nice, shouldn't have done that, lanyard that you can take to the shelves. We also have a an RFID wand. We are owners of TechLogic. TechLogic is the developer of RFID for TLC, and we have a RFID wand that allows staff to literally walk along a shelf and just drag a wand along the shelf, and it will inventory a whole system. We've had libraries with 12,000 copy collection being inventoried in a single day. So yes, you can do that with that, and again, being portable and being web-based and live, the inventory module that gives you the ability to go to the shelves and do that in real time.
All right. I think that may have bumped your mic a little bit, so you might want to move it back up.
Gotcha. There. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right.
Also under related, with a book result, we pay extra through Novelist Select for that to come up. Do you offer that now?
Yeah, Novelist is an option. As standard, we quote and include in our proposals the Syndetics. If a library wants to have Novelist, they can absolutely have it, and they can have a subscription to that. I think potentially you could have Novelist instead of Syndetics, but I would need to check on that. But I believe we can do Novelist instead of Syndetics if you prefer. But Novelist is not included as standard in our system. Hope that
All
helps.
right. That looks like all the questions we have for
Okay.
today.
All
But
right.
of course, if you have any more, feel free to send them over. You can visit us at tlcdelivers.com. You can email Jerry directly at gdavies@tlcdelivers.com.
Yep.
And we thank you all for attending today. I hope that was great information for you. And of course, visit our website if you're looking for more information.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.